Good morning, welcome back to the TeamLRF YouTube. You're with me today. So 8 o'clock now, so I've done a fair few bits this morning. Got up at 5, smashed through some check-ins. Wednesday's like a medium-ish quieter day for me. It's not one of my busiest days, so yeah, I smashed out those check-ins. I've walked the dog, done my cardio, just 15 minutes on the cross trainer. I quite like that morning routine, just get out, get some fresh air, walk the dog, get the cardio done, walk back, and now I'm just gonna do my food prep for the day. I've got 3 posing clients, I think. 3, maybe 4, I think it might be 3. I'll have a look at my calendar. So I just need to prep everything essentially so that I am good to go for the day basically. It's just much better for me having everything ready to go. I like the ability of having everything ready. I'm quite lazy in my food prep. I don't know if we've done like a full day of eating with me before, but I tend to like keep things quite simple out of choice. Like on my plan there'll be like options for veg and stuff, and I kind of just keep it like raw veg just because I can't be bothered to cook it and it's just easy to prep. So I'm gonna get cracking with that. I do cook some things, but yeah, it might be interesting for people to see what like a vegetarian slash vegan eats kind of in a day during like off season. So first I'm just going to prep my meal 1 to have now. During off season it is a case of you actually need to be more stricter with your timings of food. Like I try, obviously I'm pretty rigid with my timings on prep, but if you get behind on your food in off season, it's like you're cramming food in at the end of the day, and it actually, like, I don't want to say it's horrible because I am very grateful to be eating a lot of food and I do enjoy eating my food, but when you're cramming it in and you're full and you don't want to eat, it is just the worst ever. So yeah, my first meal, people are going to absolutely rinse me for this. This is out of choice. No one forces me to eat this as my first meal, but I like to save my favourite meals for later in the day. I still enjoy this meal, but I like sweet stuff later in the day. So this first meal I'm going to have cucumber, carrot, and people are going to rinse me, and a can of beans. And I just put some spices on this and I eat the carrot and cucumber just as it is. So yeah. Chopped up my carrots and now I'm going to drain this can of beans. So obviously being vegetarian you have to mix up in terms, I don't eat meat basically, obviously that's what vegetarian is. Just to clarify that for you. So I don't like, personally, it's different for everyone, but I don't like having all of my protein coming from mock meats. I like to get in some like natural protein from beans, and people will look at this meal and think, hold up, why has she got no carb meal? But there's a lot of carbs in beans basically, so this is not like, yes, it's a carb-free meal in the fact that there's no potato, there's no rice, there's no oats or something, but there are carbs within this. So yeah, you just have to, if you're on a vegetarian or vegan diet, or if you're a coach and you're coaching someone, you just obviously have to be mindful of that, that there are carbs obviously in natural things like beans. This is just my preferred bean choice, but obviously there's like chickpeas I'll quite often use as well, and then lentils and things like that as well, which people do like. Doing the actual sort of cooking portion of my prep. Like I said earlier, I like to keep it really simple. I don't actually cook a lot out of choice. My evening meal is cooked, but yeah, I just need to prep my food from now up till like 6 p.m. and then my evening meal when I get home later will be cooked and I'll cook that out fresh. So this is a brand that I really like to use, Vivera. They do bacon, like veggie bacon, veggie mince. This is the mince, and then they do a burger as well. The macros are really, really good on them, because you will find with a lot of vegetarian mock meats is that obviously the macros are not the same as like meat. So obviously like 80 grams of chicken is like literally got like no carbs and no fat really, it's just protein. But whereas this has got carbs, this is really good, but a lot of them will have carbs and fats. So for 100 grams of this, there's 20 grams of protein, 3 grams of carbs, and there's no fats in this. But a lot of other mock meat brands will have carbs and they will have fats. So that's why I really like this brand, because then I can actually have things that I like peanut butter for my fats, and like more carbs basically, rather than eating them in my mock meat. So that is a tip, is to look up that brand if you are vegetarian. I didn't put any spray in that. Oh well, be fine. So yeah, I'll just literally heat that up on the pan, and then I'm going to cook some pasta up as well. So just boiling my pasta up, not a lot of skill involved in that. But so we like to use gluten-free pasta. It's just much easier digestible. If you're having it every single day, sorry, I'm talking, it's just much easier to digest basically. So I like to use that rather than normal pasta. And yeah, we just go for the little macaroni type. Another mock meat brand that I use is Corn, which a lot of people would have heard of. I use the vegan, this is just like chicken slices. Again, this is just easeability. I don't have to fry up anything, I don't have to cook it, I'm just very lazy. So it's the vegan ones because, so I'm not actually vegan, before people start coming for me if they see me eating anything like that's not vegan. So I'm just intolerant to eggs, so my meal plan generally is like vegan, so I can't have things that have egg, and a lot of the protein in normal vegetarian corn, the protein in that comes from egg whites. So yes, I can't eat that, so I have the vegan versions. I'm just going to make my pre-workout meal now, back from the gym. Obviously had that in-person posing session with my client Kerry. This is a new flavour of cream of rice. I always have cream of rice for my pre-workout meal, just my favourite. And this is the chocolate and salted caramel, which is beautiful. And I mix it with this, my vegan, which is the vegan My Protein brand, salted caramel flavoured isolate. So it's a soy isolate. This is one of my favourite vegan proteins as well. So if you're in the market for a good vegan protein that doesn't taste like dirt, then this is what I recommend. So I have 85 grams of cream of rice. And I don't know why I'm having it out of Tupperware, you know, when you just get in the habit of like, I just like it out of this bowl. I know how to make it in this bowl the right consistency. So it just stays in that bowl. I don't want to undercut myself. There we go. And 30 of the protein. So I don't make it into like quite the thick cake consistency that Rob does. I'm not sure, I have tried. I'm not sure if it's the fact that he's using whey and I'm using a different kind of protein. Obviously it's a soy protein, so I don't know if that's it, or if it's the fact that he has like 50 grams of protein in it. But anyway, I like it this way that I make it anyway, so this is how I have it. So I do put in a bit of baking powder, mix it up. Rather than hot water, my trick is almond milk. So I flood the bowl with almond milk, and it literally, I'll show you in a sec once I've put it in, you gotta mix it really well, but it will literally just be like really watery and watery consistency, and then just gotta blast it in the microwave for like a little while, to be honest, for like a good few minutes, and then stir, and then a couple more minutes, and then it'll be like a nice thick kind of like moussey texture rather than like cakey texture. So yeah, that's how I like to do it. Oh no, it's not what you need. Sorry, get all of that in there. and then stick it in the microwave for probably like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll mix it again and just keep going basically until it is how I want it. You do have to keep an eye on it because it will literally rise, and if you leave it, obviously then you're just making that good old mess. And this is the finished product, so that's what it's going to look like. It is thick, and yeah, I just like that consistency. So I'm going to put some berries on there. I kind of do this in a two-parter because I like eating the berries first, and then I put the nut butter on after at the end because it's the best bit, so I save it to the end. And I will also pink salt it as well. My boy Jamie Oliver hooked me up with the pink salt. It just really brings out the flavour, and I just like it, so yeah. Is it open? Oh. Oh God. Beautiful. So as I said, now that I've pretty much eaten it all, I like to add the nut butter on after. I really like these. I actually put this on my Instagram the other day. These two, there's one almond and one peanut. They're actually from Lidl. They're really, really affordable. What's the word? Affordable. Almond butter can often be a little bit more expensive, and this is like really, really reasonable, and they're both really nice, and you get a really good serving size for them as well. But today I'm going to use that peanut butter and then this big tub of Meridian almond. I'll get 30 grams with this meal, so yeah, I'm just going to divvy that up and put that on. That's a big size, serving size, isn't it? We get lots. So we're just back at the gym now, and I'm just preparing my pre and my intra. So for intra, I think this is pretty standard to be honest. I keep just reaching for grunt at the moment, and this is the cherry lime flavour, and then just creatine, and that'll be my intra. For my pre, I keep having Naughty Boy at the moment as well, and I quite like this pump mixed with Total War by Redcon, so that's what I'm going to have in my pre. So I've got glutes and delts again, and that's just the way that my split has fallen. So I'll be doing the same session again. I know you guys have seen this before, but this is what it's like. If you want to make progress, you've got to be doing the same movements consistently over a period of time and just progressively overloading. So adding on weight or adding on reps. So yeah, if I wanted to be more interesting for YouTube, I would switch it up, but this is what it is, and this is how I do it, and it's just repeating it and rinsing it. And I think too many people just get caught up in wanting to try out new things and doing new things and trying to be interesting and different and cool. I am interesting and I am different, I am cool, but I'm still going to stick to my training plan, and I'm going to do the same session that I did last time, but we're just going to work to hit bigger numbers, and to me that means that I can categorically say that I am progressing across the board if I'm increasing. It doesn't always have to be an increase in weight and reps and numbers. It can be a form PB, and I'm big on this with my clients actually. I like to use form PB or a tempo PB. You're improving, you may improve the set in like increasing your range of motion. So bettering the form, or you might get a better tempo, a better pause, and to me that is progress still. It's not always about increasing the weight or the reps, but that's what we're chasing today. Okay, so I'm just going to do my glute warm up and like activation. I do this before every leg day, so it's just with a glute band, just getting some blood flowing and get the glutes sort of activated and warmed up before I go on to any actual lifting with weights. So I'm just going to do some variations of kickbacks. The key with this is nice and slow and steady and really controlled, really keeping every part of my body nice and still, apart from like the area that needs to move basically. So I'll try and keep my hips still, my core still, really keep everything nice and still, apart from what is moving to do the movement basically. So I'll show you what I mean with the kickbacks. This next exercise, I don't even really have a name for it, but it really, really hurts. If you do it controlled and really concise movement, it really burns. So what I'm literally doing is picking up my leg from one side with my leg straight. It's just like a variation of a kickback basically, and it goes from one side and I cross it over my other leg basically, so I will show you. If someone knows the name, please feel free to tell me. always, I'm just going to start off with a little warm-up set. So a couple of warm-up sets, just getting everything warmed up essentially, and then go on to my lifting. So I'm starting with the abductor today. I have beat the reps that I did last session, but the last rep there was a bit like a dodge one, you know, where I'm at the top end of my rep range now on the plans, but next session, I don't want to go back and think, oh, I hit the rep range, so I'm gonna increase the weight next time. So what I've written in my logbook is that, yeah, I got 10 reps, but I want to stick at that weight next session and tidy up the form. So I want to tidy up the form there and get really nice solid 10 reps before I then increase the weight next time. Because if I increase the weight, I know I'll just be doing dog shit reps and they won't be like quality, they won't be controlled, they won't be full range of motion. So always good to write down little notes like that when you're in the moment in your session, because you can come back to this session like me. My rotation is every 10 days. I'm not going to remember, oh, I did 10 reps, but the last ones were a bit dodgy. So I write it down in the moment and then I remember when I go back and look through for my next session. So I'll stick at that weight and just polish that and perfect that before I bump up the weight next time. Oh, that was good. Whew.
have these two little booster pads on the adductor. Why I have these here is so that it pushes me forwards, so that my bend in my knee is in line with the bend in the machine here. I'll show you without, and I'll show you how that makes a difference. Gracefully. So if I'm sat here with my back against the backrest, which I like to have back support for this, otherwise I feel like my torso is just moving too far forwards and backwards, especially as I'm towards the end of the set when it's getting harder. But you can see that my knee is like way too far away from the actual bend in the machine. So I was finding it quite uncomfortable on the knees, being sat in this position. And if I just move myself forwards, which is where I end up when I've got the pads there, I don't like to do it without the pads because I've got all this room behind me which I can rock back and forwards. So when I have the pad there, I've got something stable and sturdy to rest my back against. But now my knee is in the right place for the angle of the machine. So you can adapt, even if you don't have pads like that, you can put something else, like a foam roller could go back there, something like that, just any sort of padding to just push you a little bit further forwards into the machine to allow for your bend in your leg to be in the right position, rather than having to adjust around the machine. You adjust the machine and make it work for you. Okay, so that's the end of the lower body portion of my glutes and delts session. We're going to end the video there. I'm going to go and train my upper body a little bit. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tag me if you watched the video, and I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it.